Yes, today I'm popping on into so many lives back to back to back only because I'm making so many things and I don't want you guys to miss out. So the next dish that we're making is is an okra favorite that everybody likes, and the dish is called Karahi Bhindi. So it is actually something that New York restaurants have come up with as a time saver thing, and it's something that you really see in Indian restaurants. We don't really eat this at home. It's not a home style dish, but I'm happy to show you how it's done. So part of my prep actually involved cutting the egg. I keep calling it eggplant, like dude, this is okra. Cutting the okra and actually deep frying these. So this is exactly how it's made in the restaurant, and I'm going to show you all the tips and tricks. So restaurants don't actually use fresh okra. They always use frozen okra, and then they deep fry it to cook out all the gunk from it, right? So now the concept of Kadai Bhindi really revolves around how do we get the maximum flavor from these fried okra things that we've got going on. So some very basic ingredients that we need, which are standard for almost all Indian dishes. We're going to start with some cumin seeds right there. Just let them splutter for a little bit. Some ginger garlic paste. So essentially the taste that you get in this bhindi dish is really, so bhindi is okra, right? The taste that you essentially get is mostly of ginger garlic and onions, and then it's a little bit tart, it's a little bit spicy. That's kind of like the flavor profile that you get. Hello Sushma ji, welcome to the Queen's Curry Kitchen. I am making Kadai Bhindi. Along with this, you're also going to need a lot of ginger julienne. So this is the thing that adds the crunch and the texture, because this does not involve adding any potatoes. This is a dish that's made without potatoes. Usually when we make bhindi at home, it's potatoes and okra mixed. But in this case, that is not going to be happening. Okay, so I have some white onions that I've chopped finely. They're going to go in. So I'm making about 6 portions. So that's what I'm using. Oh, sorry. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to saute these onions. Now the idea with making Kadai Bhindi is not to brown the onions. Very important tip. Do not try to brown your onions in this dish. It's not a korma, it's not a curry. The onions are supposed to be crunchy, but cooked and not raw. So it's a very fine distinction. You have to keep an eye on what you're making. I like to keep the heat to medium high and stir it constantly. The other things that I'm going to need for this recipe are also bell peppers. So anything kadai actually means that it has been enhanced with bell peppers. If you have tomatoes that you can get where you can scoop out the pulp and just use the skin, you can use that as well. I'm going to be using store-bought tomato puree. So I'm going to toss in just a few of the bell peppers at this stage so that it'll have a nice flavor. And then the big chunks I'm going to save to add towards the end of the dish. Okay, so the green ones have gone in. If you have red, green, orange, whatever color. So it's a very nice and colorful dish. You can make it as spicy or as mild as you like it. And it really cooks very fast. It doesn't take that much effort, especially if you've already got the okra fried and tucked away into your freezer. You can really whip this up for any weekday dinner night. I think it needs just a little more oil. I'm using olive oil, the light olive oil, but you can use whatever oil you like or whatever you're used to. Okay, so the onions need a couple of seconds to cook. Has anybody tried to make this at home? What is your experience? If this is your favorite vegetable or not your favorite vegetable, or you don't know how to cook the slime out of it, I've actually done an okra with potato video where I've taught you the tips and tricks on how to cover it, how to cook with it, and what to add at the very end so that it will not be slimy. If you'd like to take a class with me to learn all these tips and tricks firsthand, then you can always register at www.queenscurrykitchen.com. There are classes for all levels of beginner, intermediate, and advanced. Classes are online, so you could really be anywhere in the world and we could actually be cooking on either side of the camera. You will get a prep list, you will get everything ahead of time, so you'll be well prepared. So I'm using a cast iron wok so that it'll get a nice color. I can still smell that my ginger and garlic need a little more work, so I'm just going to spread it out so that it'll be in contact with the hot surface of the kadai. So this is a kadai, wok is a kadai actually, which has a flat base. And the reason why we cook in something, most of our stir-fry dishes are made in a kadai because it has a wider base, so the moisture doesn't actually condense and fall back into the dish. It's really great because it helps to suck out the moisture from the vegetables and add whatever spices that we want to add. But the hot level surface that is there actually helps to roast the spices really quickly, and you can do a quick toss. So that's why kadai is an essential tool in the Indian kitchen. I constantly keep tossing this together. I have not added any salt or anything at this point. The okra is also not salted, it's just deep fried. There's no salt in it either. So we're going to keep roasting this for a few minutes. I just made a dal makhani a few minutes ago, and let me see if I can show you what it looks like. It's pretty much almost ready. It's been simmering away. Let's see. Oh yeah, there it is. Well, I don't know how much you can see. Okay, so this is the dal makhani. It's completely ready, and it's been simmered with cream and tomato. I just did that live video a couple of seconds ago. I hope you caught it in time. So before I serve, I'm going to be taking out all the bay leaves. I'll be adding a little splash of heavy cream to the top and also garnishing it with ginger juliennes. And see how nice the color is? This is exactly how they make it in the restaurant. So I hope you caught that live video when I did it. I'm going to bring you back to the okra dish. I feel like this spatula is not the right one, because you literally need to go under and scrape everything up. So one really important ingredient that I put in all my kadai dishes is actually the Karai Masala from the Queen's Curry Kitchen. I have a line of spice blends, and one of the spice blends I have is called Stir Fry Karai Masala, and it's really a combination of chickpea flour, all the whole spices, fennel, cloves, cinnamon. It's available on the website, but it really gives a nice flavor to all of your stir fry sabzis or dishes without having to add 50,000 ingredients. The spices are already pre-roasted and they come in a nice package. You can check it out on the website. Okay, so now you see the onions have changed a little bit of color, which is exactly what we want. We don't want them to be caramelized, we just want them to be translucent. And you can see that the oil is actually trying to separate from the onions. So this is a good time to add your tomato puree. Just add it to the middle of the pan. This is not a gravy dish, so be very careful of how much tomato you add. You really do not want it to be watery or runny, and keep the flame high so you can keep working out the moisture from it. At this point you can add the salt so that whatever moisture needs to be drawn out can get cooked out in the high heat of the pan. I'm using Himalayan pink salt, but you can use any salt of choice. This is basically trying to cook out the tomato. At this time you can also add in the rest of the peppers, because you don't want them to be raw. turn up the heat. And now is a good time to add this Karai Masala. So this is already 17 different spices that are roasted and pre-packaged. Of course, you can buy them on our website, queenscurrykitchen.com. And once you add that, you really don't need a whole lot of other spices because that does the work for you. It's extremely flavorful and aromatic, right from chaat masala to fenugreek to ginger powder, garlic powder, onion powder, paprika, turmeric, roasted gram flour, nutmeg, cloves, cinnamon. All of that is already in this masala. So you really don't have to do a whole lot of other things from your masala box. That's why the line of my spices is called Easy Curry, because it helps you to make Indian food in a New York minute. Now, one little secret ingredient that I like to add in my Karai dishes is Asafoetida or hing. This is a great flavor enhancer, and it's a substitute for if you don't eat onions or if you don't eat garlic. Like I have a friend who has IBS and she doesn't eat garlic or onions, but she uses Asafoetida in almost everything that she cooks with. I'm going to go ahead and add just a little bit of water to keep this, to deglaze the pan a little bit. Right there. Remember, we're not trying to make this into a wet dish, because as soon as the moisture hits the okra, it's going to get slimy. So this is not a wet dish at all by any standards, right? Turn up the heat to high. The aromas in this kitchen are absolutely insane right now from adding the masala. It's really, really aromatic. It smells really good. With the slight acidity of the tomatoes, it's really good. Now, most Karai dishes traditionally are made with butter, but I'm not using any butter. I'm making it in olive oil. So they are usually loaded with cilantro, fresh bell peppers. Those are the things that they're always loaded with. And they are always loaded with dry fenugreek herbs. So it's a very roadside thing, which is called dhaba style cooking in India. And it's really on the northern highways of India that there are these little food shacks that sell the most incredible food, and they have all the local produce because they have fields in the back where they grow stuff, and then whatever grows that day, that's what they make in their roadside food stalls, and all the truckers and travelers like to come and eat there. So this is really a dhaba style. So the characteristic thing is that the onions have to be chopped really fine, and it needs heavy doses of fenugreek leaves. Even though the Karai Masala that I sell already has enough of the fenugreek flavor, I still like to add a little bit more, because in a Karai dish you really want that deep earthy flavor, right? So just a little bit of addition that we're doing to this actually helps the bell peppers to just soften up a little bit without losing their crunch. And this is a fantastic base that is now ready, where you can introduce the okra. I have not tasted for salt yet, because once I add the okra, I will have to adjust the salt and the seasoning, since the okra is also not salted at all. Okay, so in goes one box of this. I'm going to put in another one, and one, as you saw, fell to the ground, so can't use that. So that's that. I'm going to give it a good toss. Now at this point, do not turn down the heat, keep it at a max level. Some of the okra might release some oil, but just keep working it from the bottom and lift it, so you're not breaking any delicate okra. Lift it from the bottom and flip it. Lift from the bottom and flip. Really super easy. Lift and flip. If you feel like you need to touch it with a little oil, just drizzle oil on the walls of the wok instead of putting it right in the middle of the dish. I am going to go ahead and add some garam masala to this. Of course, more cilantro. There's no such thing as too much cilantro, right? And as it sizzles and comes along, I'm going to quickly take a taste for salt to figure out if it needs more salt, less salt, what does it need. Okay? I'm going to just turn it down just a little bit. I'm going to deglaze with water. Because all the yummy masala is actually sticking to the bottom. Just make sure that when you hit the water on the pan, do not put it on top of your okra, because that's going to start turning slimy, right? So just put it locally to that area of the pan where it's gathering all the drippings, right? Give it a quick toss, and I think it needs just a little bit of salt, not too much. It's pretty much done. Now before I serve it, I'm going to grill some cherry tomatoes on my grill pan, and I'm going to add those to the top of this, and that's going to be the way this dish is finally going to be served. Of course, lots of cilantro, more ginger juliennes to this, and I'm going to add some lemon juice. So this is supposed to be kind of like tart, a little bit spicy, a little bit tart. I don't do spicy at all, so I haven't added any heat to this. If you want, you certainly can. And then the pop of the cherry tomatoes is going to give it a nice red color and a great presentation. So that's that. I'm going to turn off the heat and get it off. I hope you liked what we made today, and I hope that you will join me again soon in another one. I will be jumping back to the aloo tikki video sometime soon, so keep an eye out for the lives. If you have liked and followed this page, you will automatically get a notification whenever I go live. So like always, be blissful, be flavorful. I hope you're all having a great weekend, and I will see you real soon in another recipe, very shortly. Talk to you soon. Bye.